So I'm a used car dealer, and I sell cars that are $5,000 and under. And I like to look at CarMax to be able to gauge the health of the used car market. And lately, what they've been saying is very worrisome for the whole car market. Not necessarily just the whole car market or even my dealership here, but it's worrisome for the whole economy in general. See, what they recently said was that people are not paying their car bills, and so much so that they are actually putting more money back to be able to protect themselves from these people that are defaulting on a lot of their auto loans. So what does that mean in numbers? Well, they're actually increasing their loan loss provisions by 25%, and that's to the tune of $20 million. They're increasing their loan loss provisions from $80 million up to $100 million, and that is a ton of money for them to put back to be able to protect themselves from these people who either can't or won't make their car payments. And this is what I'm worried about for the whole car market and really even the economy. If people are not making their car payments, well, they're not making payments on anything else either. And the reason why this is so detrimental is because the car market moves on debt. If people aren't making their car payments, well, they're not going to be able to get into new cars. They're not going to be able to trade in the cars that they have because of either negative equity or because they don't have credit scores to be able to buy brand new cars. See, the whole car market in general, we move because velocity of money moves through the system. We need new cars to be bought so used cars can be traded in, so I can buy cars from the auction. My prices can come down. My consumers can then buy cars that are cheaper. But if car transactions aren't happening in this economy, in this car market, because people don't have the available credit because they couldn't make the car payments that they had from 2-3 years ago, well, then that's a big setup for disaster for not only my small business, but for the whole car market. And this is something that I want to look to CarMax for, because we're looking at how much people are not paying for their cars. And we already know that right now we're in a situation where auto loan delinquencies are at the highest that they've ever been. Even back in 2008 is not as bad as what we're experiencing now. And we know that we've had a lot of craziness that we've experienced in the last 2 to 3 years that has caused all of these auto loan delinquencies. And we know we have consumers right now that are stretched thin. And this is what CarMax is screaming right now, is that consumers are having a hard time, and because they're having such a hard time, they're not making their payments to CarMax or anywhere else.
Still wondering why Brandon usually pegs the U.S. economy on CarMax.
The thing about CarMax is that they serve a population base that I think is very similar to my consumer. My consumer is going to be a step down, I feel like, from a majority of the CarMax buyers, but you're going to add in the people that want to take on debt to do CarMax, which is most people. So the reason why I look at CarMax so much is because it's going to show me really how the consumer is doing in that level. And I feel like in that level of consumers, your middle to lower middle class, that's going to be the class that's going to show weakness the first when we have a big downturn. And it's going to show when times are good because they're going to be spending more money. They don't have disposable income like the wealthy. So you don't really, in a lot of cases, look at like the luxury brands to judge how the whole economy is doing, because the top 3% of earners, they're not moving this economy forward. They're holding on to a lot of the wealth that they have. But people that are in that lower the bracket area of our economy, they're spending money as soon as they get it. And in a lot of cases, you can follow trends with them, with their credit, with how many auto loan delinquencies they're running through. And I like to look at CarMax because they have the whole package. They can show how many cars are selling, how many cars are selling within a specific range. They can show how their loan books are going, if people are actually paying their bills, are they not. Lately, they've been increasing their loan loss provisions. So that's telling me that people are getting tapped on credit and they're getting to a point where they're having a harder time making their actual auto loan payments. And this is tying along with more repos that I'm seeing at auction. So these are all little clues that I can kind of peg. And I can't just go and look at Ford and find that, because they're selling new vehicles to new Ford dealers. And I mean, I can't go look at Toyota. I can't go look at these earnings reports from a lot of these big manufacturers and get as much information as I can from CarMax, where you can see CarMax from the buy side. You can see them from the sell side when I can see how other car dealers are doing by the wholesale prices that CarMax is getting. They have their own auctions and they run their own cars through their auctions. So they cover just about every segment of the car market except for brand new vehicles. Everything else they touch except for brand new vehicles. So that's why CarMax, I think, is such a good gauge. Carvana is probably going to eventually fall into that, as long as they are not foolish about the things that they do with their business, because they have ADESA. So they have just about everything that CarMax does, but Carvana does a much better job online, whereas CarMax does a better job with physical locations. So those are going to be two companies that I want to pay attention to, because they just cover every piece of the car market. And I like to dissect their numbers and go through what they're actually doing, as long as they're reporting real numbers. And I feel like CarMax does that. Maybe not Carvana, but CarMax, I feel like there's actual tangible numbers that we can use to gauge which direction the car market is going. Another thing I like about CarMax is they spend lots and lots of money on people that trend and know the car market very, very well. And even if you throw this YouTube stuff out, I would still always pay attention to CarMax and their earnings and what they say, because they have people that study the car market way more than I do. They know the direction of where the car market's going. And I can use what they say to help prepare in my small used car business also. So that's why I like to pay attention to CarMax as much as I do.
And if you like seeing updates about the car market, well, make sure you're subscribed to this channel.
Hey, here's a question from Jesse, just to follow up. Is Carvana a bad idea?
Yes, you're gonna pay way more. And also, if you go through like their financing, it's going to be more expensive than what you could get from like your credit union, or even like if you would go to like a Ford or a Toyota dealer, they can get you better financing than Carvana would. Carvana is a glorified buy here, pay here dealer that just sells cars online. And because of the ease of clicking a button and have the car dropped off to you, you're going to pay like $4,000 or $5,000 more for the actual vehicle that you're getting. Carvana is a bad idea. They have a bad, in my opinion, for the consumer, they have a bad business model.
And as someone who has a dealership and we have to deal with the paperwork, it's hard not to be aware when they've been shut down and had their license revoked temporarily in multiple states, suspended or whatever, because they don't have their paperwork in order enough to be shut down by the state. That's concerning to me. I'm sure it's not most of the time that happens, but it's enough to get shut down in multiple states.
I haven't seen any of that recently.
It's been a while.
Yeah, that was like a 2 years ago. Yeah.
You can't keep that
hopefully they fix the paperwork stuff. Our sales manager, they bought a car from Carvana, and I remember him saying, like, after he got into the actual car industry, how much more they paid for that freaking car than they would have paid like anywhere else, and they were just oblivious to it whenever they got it.
All right, we have a serious question now. Have you ever answered a question in one sentence or less?
My wife can probably answer that.
Nope. Absolutely not.
One sentence answer. So here's the thing about a question in one sentence or less that I really want to talk about. And see, I'm practicing on being a politician, because that's going to be my next.
No.
I think my wife would bury me in the backyard if I became a politician. But I am running for president. It's just president of our HOA.
Nope. Also not even that.
I'm going to infiltrate the evil society from the inside, and that's why I'm going to make this neighborhood great again. And that's
my goodness.
Yeah. And my neighbor is also with me, and he's going to be my lieutenant. And we're going to buy a golf cart, and we're going to get button-up shirts and clipboards, and we're going to ride around our neighborhood, and we're going to hand out violations, but not the regular violations. It's not like your grass is too high. It's like, we don't like the way that you wave to us in the morning, or we would rather you not talk to us. And that's the violation that you're getting, the do not talk violation.
It's ironic because you're the one that's talking the most.
I don't talk to other people, though.
That's true. It's true.
This is I have to talk in more than one sentence
okay.
because this is the only interaction I have with real people. And to me, this is like you're a camera right now. You're not even a real person.
Okay.
I don't want to talk to my wife,
this
so I
is-
have to talk to you. This is what we do. Because you hear me, she keeps interrupting me, and I'm making
trying,
a point,
guys.
and I'm getting straight to the point. And this is exactly what we're talking about here in this live.
Yep. All right. So
Next question.
Have you considered taking vehicle requests for a deposit?
Vehicle request for a deposit.
If someone gives you a deposit and says, "Can you go find this car for me?"
Oh, no, we're not doing that. The reason this is like a special order question. I get that a lot too. And this is one of the many emails you guys send me. Hey, Brandon, I'm looking for this 2015 F-150 with 100,000 miles. I want to pay this. Can you go buy it for me at auction? I'll make it worth your time. I get that same email, not for that specific car or specific truck, but I get that same kind of email all the time. I don't do special orders, and there's a couple reasons why, but the biggest reason is that once I buy a car from auction, it's my car. And even if I feel like I have a buyer on the other side of that buyer could always fall through. And if I'm going out and buying you a $15,000 vehicle and I drive that thing home and it blows up or it breaks in two on the way back to my my dealership, well, I still own both pieces of that vehicle that is broken into. And why on earth would you want to buy that vehicle for me, even though I went and got it from auction? So there's still a lot of risk that is involved in that. And someone who is wanting to get a special order from me and go to the auction and get it, it's because they're wanting to get a better deal on it. They're wanting me to go get them an auction price and them slide me $300 for the work I'm doing. It's not worth it. Like I'm not here to do favor. I mean, I know I'm here to give you great advice and do all these great things on YouTube. But as for my business, I'm not running a charity. I'm still trying to make money in my business, and that's not a good option of me being able to make any kind of money with all the money that it costs me to have my dealer's license.